Welcome to Double Dose of Raw Talk Podcast, your weekly dose of many discussions and opinions, a show where we get comfortable being uncomfortable. And remember, no topic is off limits. Now let's talk about it. And here we go. Guess what? So I sent an agenda, right? We're already recording. We're just going to dive right in. I sent an agenda of what I want to talk about. But if by the time I send the agenda to the very second we're about to start recording, I see something else, we gonna discuss something else too. So I just do those type of things. So yeah, bear with me here because I got a little plot twist for the raw mess of the week. But here we are. I'm already kicking it off. You see this? I can't. I'm a mess. All right, guys. Welcome back to another week and another episode on Double Dose of Raw Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Miss C, and today I'm excited to have this conversation with a very lovely, beautiful, powerful. Oh, you like that, right? It's true. It's true. Fellow podcaster. Of course, you guys already know my new vibe is I allow, because I think it's right. I used to do the introductions for my guests, but you know what? I like the voice to kick in right off the bat. So will my guest please honor the Double Dose of Raw Talk community and introduce yourself?
My name is Shakirah OoooMazing. I am an Amazon 2-time bestselling author, and I am a podcast host of the So Superwoman, which airs weekly on Apple, Google, and Spotify. What else you need to know?
I love it. I love it. That's how I needed to kick this in, though. So I am so happy you're here. I'm so excited. It's so funny to me because I often have listeners say, when I have other podcasters come on the show, they're like, do you really listen to the show? And I'm like, yes. I'm like, you know what it's become for my life? My life has become that I now make time on my agenda for when I commute. It's like music day today, podcast day today, TV show today. I give myself that remedy of staying away from the news and all this other stuff. I like to now really listen to talent, listen to creativity, listen to all of that. If I can make time for a TV show and see some pretty dope acting and a plot twist, if I can make time for music, why can't I make time to fellow podcasters and give them my time? No. So I'm excited to have you here. Love your show. Love it.
Thank you. You listen.
Let me say it one more time. Yes. Let me say it one more time. Love it, because there's one thing I love is when we have bold women coming to the microphone. I really, really love that. I am one that takes pride in that. And I want more and more females to feel that powerful in their voice and in their story. So I'm excited to have you here. So we're going to jump right into Raw Mess of the Week. I had shared a little something with you about what I wanted to talk about, right? Okay. But now we got a little plot twist. And for the sake of not having to say names, because, I usually reference something that happens in the news or the celebrities and all that hot mess, right? There's this public figure. I'm not going to say exactly who it is because her names have been buzzing all over social media. But Miss Thing, very beautiful, also a powerful woman in her own right. She said, there was a little story on the blogging sites headlines. She said that, she kind of is protective of her man around her friends.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw that. It was around that. I could share it with you. Again, I want to start staying away from the naming, because let me tell you something. Kanye and Kim have been buzzing on the show for Raw Mess of the Week for several weeks now, because of different themes, different topics of conversation. So I want to start taking away that celebrity name and really applying it to the theme itself. And I wanted to just shine a little light for this little messy situation, because this person, this female, and listen, this could be a celebrity or a regular, schmegular person, right? Regular, schmegular woman. She feels some type of way about leaving her man around her friends. And first of all, that's not the first time I've heard that. Let's begin with that.
Okay.
I've heard that before around some very regulars. Okay. Shout out to my friends who are regular and they feel the same way. Not me, but okay. But I've heard that before. I have. And I actually don't find a problem with that. There was a lot of scrutiny in the buzz. That just means, you're making excuses for him. You're targeting the women because, you don't trust your friends, or you don't trust women around him, or is the women you don't trust, or is it really she doesn't trust a man? But here's the thing. I want to reference back a little theme, a little setting that my mom used to teach me. My mom taught me on a very, very long time ago. I used to hear her talk with the older females, right? Her friends, her in-laws, her sisters-in-laws and whatnot. And my mom used to say, like, and this is something I've implemented real strongly this year because I kind of slacked off on it. You have to be very protective of who you let into your home. And that includes when you are a wife and you have a husband, or however which title you want to call it, and you're allowing people of probably, parallel to who you are, interests, things like that, allowing to come into your home, and you're sharing moments that may involve, and I want to give benefit of the doubt, may involve some drinking, and sometimes when drinking happens, things happen, may involve some unintentional scenarios. I want to give benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to say anybody's doing anything on purpose. I don't see nothing wrong with that. I think that to a certain extent, you are supposed to be protective of your family, of your partner, of your children. You're not supposed to just be okay with just anybody being around them. And if there's people that you wholeheartedly, blindly trust with them, that's great. But I don't think it's a bad thing. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, so this is my perspective on it, right? I agree to a certain extent, right?
Okay.
So, first of all, ain't none of my friends, I don't have friends. Let me just start off like that. Number one.
Okay.
Number two, no female is going to be around my mate if I'm not there, right? Whether I trust the person or not, I just don't think that's appropriate. Just like I'm not going to feel comfortable to be around their mate and they're not around. So I don't see anything wrong with that. However, from my experience, okay, if the man is trifling, then he just gonna be trifling. But that's just my experience, Miss D. Okay.
Right.
I don't trust no man, period, and I don't trust no friends, period. But that's just me.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
But I don't think there's anything wrong. You gotta have boundaries, right? And so people don't have boundaries, right? If you're in a friendship, you're in a relationship, there's boundaries. Because honestly, I don't want to be around my man's friends and he ain't there. That don't look right. And I got a story for that, but we ain't gonna go there. I mean, unless you want to go there.
I mean, you can shine a little messy light on it if you want.
The messy light is my husband introduced me to his friends and he thought I was sleeping with his friends, but I wasn't. But exactly.
See?
Exactly.
That's what I'm talking about.
But he was crazy, girl. He was toxic, so we're not even gonna go there. But the moral of the story is you gotta be very selective of who you keep around you, especially your mate. And I feel like, unfortunately, people are gonna do what they're gonna do, right? A man gonna do what they're gonna do, a woman gonna do what they're gonna do. But I just think boundaries, right? Boundaries and respect. So if you got your girlfriend, okay, why is your man there with your girlfriends? Like, well, I don't know, what is the situation? Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't like single women around. If I'm with a mate and my girlfriend is single, I don't want her around my mate if I'm not there. Like, I'm not comfortable. That's just me. And I would prefer if it's a couple situation. Like, no offense, but I'm married, about to be divorced, and I don't think married women and single friends women are like different. We just think different or whatever. And I'm married and my friends may not be married. I'm not taking advice from them because they're single. No shade, right? That's just my perspective on it. So I feel like you gotta have boundaries, especially if your friends or whoever you hang with, they're not in a relationship, they don't have no mate, and it's like, okay, you spilling all your guts out to them about your situation, where they man at. I'm just saying, okay? Not to get off topic, but I agree, and that's my perspective.
It's actually not off topic because I think it aligns so much with and we're going to talk about healing and we're going to talk about all of that jazz, right? We're going to do it because I do think that there's so many real life situations where the process, when you look at it from afar, it's like, fuck, when am I going to get to that end, that light at the end of the tunnel? Because some of these things are very detrimental to like our sanity, to our livelihood, to our health, to our healing. But the truth is, like, I completely get what you're saying. And I completely understand. I am conscious of certain situations too, right? I am a single woman. I've been divorced. I've been married, right? I've been in relationships, currently single. So there's certain experience I do have that my friends come to me for. However, every relationship is different. Every relationship is different. What people have to remember is you got to be able to talk to your partner. You are who you are. He or she is who he or she is. And you have to be able to discuss things and talk about things and come to your own resolutions regardless of who's around. Why do I say that? I say that because if you think you could trust me with a certain piece of information, great. But don't think because you can trust me that you can trust Martita, Tanya, Shauna, whatever. You know what I mean? You start dishing out all your information to half the fucking world. And I've seen it happen. Let me repeat this one more time for the people in the back.
Say it loud, Miss B. Say it loud.
I've seen it happen. You confiding in that one person, and that one person sees it as an open door. And they step right in through that little crack in the doorway. They step right in. And I'm not taking away the responsibility from the spouse. It is the spouse's responsibility to give that respect to their partner and not go, stepping out on them. But that doesn't mean that there aren't people out there who will plot, who will strategize, even in a situation like that. Period. So I don't think there was anything wrong with that. And I was a little messy and there was a lot of controversy, commentary on it. And I think that if we're going to sit here and start questioning like, oh, well, for example, there was some commentaries about, well, it's like we're always judging women and what about the men? It's not about that. It could be the other way around. It could be the other way around. A man could feel that way too. I'm not going to trust my lady around my dudes because I know exactly how my dudes are.
Exactly.
It could be the same thing.
Yes.
It could be the same thing. It don't matter. So we kicking it off that messy here. It's called messy and marriage, but whatever. Okay, so we're gonna go right into the as raw as it gets, and I gave it a little subtitle, and it's called "Be a Superwoman." And I want to shine a little bit of light of just how did you declare this to yourself? Because let me say something, okay? In the spirit of womanhood, right? And for the record, for anybody who's listening feels like, well, how can she speak on women empowerment or womanhood or whatever if she's here being judgmental? I could have a very off the bat, all across the board opinion on all sorts of situations and still feel very empowered and be here to support other women and empower women, and the same thing for men. So I can still have my opinions just all across the board based on my experiences and what other people have shared with me. Now, with that being said, I do love when I see super woman, powerful women in a position to be able to tell a story, to share their story, and to change people's lives, because you never know who's listening. So I wanted to know, how did you declare this to yourself, to life, to the world? Because when we are sitting there and we're saying like, this is who I am, like, the entire world is listening. Like, how did you do this? Where was your journey and how did you get there?
Woo. I've been doing a lot of praying, right? I'm very spiritual. I believe in a higher being, and I could be a little ratchet at times, but I have a very close relationship with my God, and that's what really helped me mentally with everything that I was going on, and still I'm dealing with. And I just kind of had to just step into a reality, right? And just accept the fact that, okay, this person is not good for me, right? And it took 6 years to really understand that. And so I am on a journey of loving myself, because I feel that when you don't love yourself, and some people may brush this under the rug, self-love is very important. And when you don't have it, I'm speaking from my own experiences, you will tolerate any bullshit. Excuse my French. You're going to accept everything, anything. Nobody gonna tell you anything. Nobody can tell you anything because you have blinders on. You don't feel good about yourself. And, you're thinking that the person you're with will change. And us women, no, they're not going to change. Okay. I am not Jesus. Okay. And I'm not here to change no damn body. Okay. And I don't walk on water either. So my whole thing is, I had to just come to that reality, right? Because I could have lost my life many times. For those who don't know, I had survived domestic violence, right? I've survived sexual assault and I've survived child abuse. So I've had a lot of trauma in my life. So I'm to the point where I am working on my mental health, right? I have ongoing therapy and I have been diagnosed with mental health issues, depression, PTSD, and anxiety, and I am medicated, okay? And that's just what it is. But I'm functioning even with my mental health, right? Because there's a lot of people who recognize the mental health, but they don't address it, right? So they go out in the world, they cause havoc on every and anybody, right? They shoot up places, people, things that have nothing to do with their trauma. So it's so important that you step into your reality to face the fact this is what it is. What am I going to do about it? Now, I'm not going to say something that may sound kind of jacked up, but I got to say it.
That's okay. We get comfortable being uncomfortable here, man.
When we get to a certain age, right? We can't keep blaming mommy. We can't keep blaming daddy. I don't like to hear I'm going to talk about men and women. I don't like to hear grown ass men who are in their 40s or 50s or 60s and they talking about well, my daddy left my mama, my daddy was in jail, this and that. And I'm like, how old are you? 40, 50, 60? And you still
let's go. Let's do this. Right.
The same thing with women. Oh, my dad, I didn't have a relationship with my dad. I keep choosing these no good ass men. How long you gonna keep doing that? Because I've been there.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you grown. And that used to be me. And I'm like, okay, I know I'm lit. Okay, Ms. D, I'm lit. And that's just what it is. And I had this, I make up words too. I had this litness in me.
Okay.
People didn't understand. So the person I was married to, he didn't bring out the litness. He tried to hide the litness. And you can't hide litness, okay? Shakirah OoooMazing declared to the world that she is so superwoman, okay? And
yeah.
I had to go through traumas with an S at the end to understand that. And let me tell you something. When somebody don't belong in your life, God or whoever you pray to will send you signs that person or people don't belong. I'm speaking from experience. Time after time, the man was doing what he was doing. Time after time, I kept allowing it. And I think the problem was because I was married. I was trying to, conform to society, or, you're married, try to do the right thing. But at the same time, I'm being physically abused. I'm being mentally abused. I've had 2 black eyes. Like, I've had my hair pulled, okay? I could go on, okay? And it's like, I'm going to do all that for what? To say that I got a husband? Really?
Because of what?
It looked good on paper.
No. But that's about it.
That's about it.
That's about it. Everything that you said, it complements so well with last week's episode. I had the real Mozo on the show, and we were talking about, shout out to him, we were talking about mental health in men, right? We were talking about emotions. And he made a reel about make certain things normal in 2022. And I think it goes hand in hand with why so many people hold on to these traumas, dwell on them instead of actually being able to go get help or putting themselves in a position to help themselves, right? And that being part of their self-love. And it's because we're already dealing with so much scrutiny still from society. Oh, men are not supposed to cry. Shut your mouth. Don't talk about that. That's non-existent. Get over it. Grow the fuck up. And yes, all that may be true, but it takes a lot of the experiences and what we're learning in those traumas with plenty of S's at the end, to say, you know what, I need to wake the fuck up and I need to be able to do this, but also not be judged when we're doing that. And I think it goes hand in hand with that. When we're thinking about our childhood traumas and experiences, I still sometimes see it with my elders, including my parents. It's like, I didn't have time to be depressed. I had to go to work. But that doesn't mean you weren't depressed. That doesn't mean that you weren't dealing with certain shit that, unfortunately, because you didn't know you had resources out there or because you couldn't talk about it, you were in a way also taking it out of your home, on your partner, on your children. And you don't realize until, and I see it now. Can I blame things on my parents? No, I had to also sit there and say, enough is enough. These are facts. What am I going to do about it? And talk on it so that I can help society make certain topics of conversation and certain realities absolutely normal, because it should be normal, to your point, to say, why am I doing this to myself? Why do I just have to conform to the fact that, well, I got a husband. Well, people can't know what's going on. Well, I got to just stick this through because, people back in the day used to just stick this through. Let me just put some shades on. Nobody needs to know. Don't talk about it. And it's like, there's just so much silencing with that. There's just so much things going around about that's just not normal. No, fuck the not normals anymore. Make this shit normal. Make it okay to put yourself first. Make it okay to heal. I think that when we have those personal experiences, that's where we fuck up, even in other areas, with the friends, with other relationships, collaborations, networking, even businesses, even in our careers. There's so much that we fuck up on when we don't deal with the inner child, when we don't tap into that, right? So I love everything you just said, because there's just so much that goes into play with the whole healing and the self-love, and people don't understand. A lot of people still don't understand. And maybe it's because we're so trained to keep it silent, or we categorize things as, oh, that's cliche. That's just, that's just what people say. No, it's real. It's very, very real. And it takes a lot of work to do that and to get there. So I love that you just mentioned this. Would you say that this is, in fact, because I want to be able to shine light also on your show and how you take this microphone and you speak on, your own experiences. And of course, I know you've written also your work. Would you say this is exactly part of your healing, to be able to produce a show, to talk about these things, that you've been able to write about it as well?
Most definitely. I grew up in a very sheltered Muslim household. Right? My mother was married to whoever. My father they weren't together. So basically, when I was born, I was a divorced baby, but whatever. So I didn't really have a close relationship with my dad growing up. So my household was very strict, right? And so I've seen things that I was just questioning, at the time. I'm a kid. I know now that I'm older, my mother was a victim of domestic violence. But at the time, I'm not paying attention to it. I don't understand. And I'm like, okay, like I'm accepting it as being normal, right? And I grew up in the household with my mother. She was very verbally abusive to me, verbally and physically. So unfortunately, I don't have a close relationship with my mother. And I tell people this part of the story, and I always hear, well, that's your mom. And you only got one mom, and you gotta let it go. I get it. However, mother or not, right? I will always love my mother. Like, let me just clear that up, because people get it twisted, right? I will always love my mother. She birthed me, even though she said she was depressed when she had me, but we're not gonna go there. I'll love her because she gave me life, right? As far as her mothering, not so much. And I'm at to the point where I'm like, okay, she had her own shit going on, clearly. So I don't hate my mother. I just can't fuck with her.
You know what? I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
I understand what you're saying. Y'all heard this was the As Raw as It Gets segment, right? Like, I knew we were going to be able to talk about this reality. It's okay for me. This is why I love Miss Shakirah, because there's other things too,
There's boundaries, right? So I have not spoken to my mother in years, right? I have no idea. Like, my mother judged me, right? She judged me. You see how I'm dressed right now? If she saw me, she'd be like, what is going on? She would probably think I'm all over the place. But little do she know, I was able to complete my bachelor's. I work a full-time job. I did not have kids. by 20 different men. Not that I'm judging anyone. I have my own place. I have a good head on my shoulders, is what I'm saying. And my mother just didn't see it that way. She just assumed that I was going to be a fuck up, right? And she probably still think that because I know my mother. I lived with her, right? She had her own mental health shit, and she probably still do to this day. So I had to just kind of like let the judgments go. I used to worry about what people said about me. I used to be obsessed over that shit. I used to be like, no, I can't say that because they might think I'm this, or I can't wear that because they might think I'm that. At this point, I'm 33 years old. That's my real age, y'all. Don't play. Um, I'm becoming comfortable with myself. I'm becoming comfortable to the point I don't give a fuck what nobody thinks. If you see me and my titties is out, well, my titties is gonna be out. Okay, I'm sorry.
Hello, wait, hello. I'm gonna join her because we totally adjusted the outfit today just for her, and I'm okay with that. And I feel you 1000% on that one.
It's about this on the inside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what it's about, not this. Because there's a lot of people who got all this going on and they fucked up on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I think
right.
it's important that people look deeper. Like you gotta look deeper into who the fuck you are. Stop worrying about the external. Now, don't get me wrong, Miss V. You know I got to look good. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm Shakirah OoooMazing. Okay. You know I gotta represent. But at the same time, I want people to remember me as a person. How did I make you feel? If I made you feel like shit, then I'm fucked up. And I don't want people to say that about me. So it's so important how you treat people, how you talk to people. It's so important because you never know who you're going to need.
Ooh, talk about it. Talk about it. It's so true. Oh my God. I love it. I love this conversation. Let me just be the first one to say, and I think I've said this before on the show. I've definitely know what it's been like to sit there and offend someone. Brutally offend someone. And I had no business offending them whatsoever, but I did it. And it was absolutely disgusting. And that's the same person I needed from. That's the same person I needed help from when everything went to shit. You know, and you learn over and over and over again how to be apologetic about it, how to have regret. And it's okay to have regret. And be grown about it and own the fuck up to what you've done. You know what I mean? So, you know, on that note, I definitely want to be able to say, like, it's okay to sit there and to own up to your bullshit, to your shit. But at the same token, you also, to the point that you just made, and it's so true, right? You don't want to sit there and be the one to be judged. You don't want to sit there and be the one to be judged because you're actually excusing other people and enabling other people with their behaviors. It's not a blaming game. It's not a pointing the finger. It's about ownership. It's about taking ownership to your actions and holding other people accountable to their bullshit too. It's also about that. That comes to the self-love piece. Okay. So for the double or nothing, empower, you empower or not? Tell me, do you truly believe there is enough empowerment amongst women? Are some so impacted by their own trust issues that it's difficult to have that unity? Or what is really the problem? What do you think?
Girl, I done had so-called friends that I've known for 11, 12 years, and they cut my ass off before the new year. So, you know, I guess they felt I was toxic to them. I don't fucking know.
Okay.
And that's fine.
Okay.
You know, hey, you know, you feel I'm toxic. It is what it is. I wish you the best. Just don't call or text me for nothing. That's all I'm saying. Because once you walk away, you can't come back. I don't give a fuck who you are. So when it comes to empowerment of women, right? Some people, for some women, it could just be a facade.
Okay.
Because I done been in some groups.
Yeah.
No shade. I done been in some groups.
Yeah.
Air quotes.
Yeah.
And you know, about some help you with your business type shit. Let's support each other. Cricket.
Mm-hmm.
Cricket. So
Yep.
I'm like, hold up. I got a business. You can't share my link to somebody who maybe like to read poetry. This is my poetry
Yes.
book.
Yes. But hold that one up real quick because we're gonna show that one real quick. Yes. Amazing.
Because guess what? This is what they say. Oh, I don't like poetry. Bitch, you read rap lyrics, right?
Yeah. Hello. No, you're right. You're right. I want to say something to something you just said. Because I do believe there could be an existence of women empowerment. I just think it takes a woman who is very truthful, group of women who's very truthful with their story, truthful even with their amazing level of confidence with all their insecurities right there with it. Like I think it takes a lot of power to be in that position as a woman. And that's how you really have that empowerment, right? That's how you really have your self-empowerment that allows you to be empowering to other women, right? And be that person that's supportive.
I agree, Miss D.
Absolutely. Now, I will say this. I went on a wave of cutting people off. I did.
Me too, girl.
Yeah,
Me
I
too,
did.
girl.
And it was comical because there were some people who, didn't even bat an eye. There were some people who felt some type of way. But for me, it came to a point where it's like, with a couple of them, I actually made that decision because of their behavior and how they were acting a little bit funny and a little bit suspect, and just it was very uncomfortable. It was the very nonchalant way of, like, not only nonchalant but very pretentious way too of, I'm gonna cut you off but not really, I'm gonna talk to you behind the scenes and not let another person see that. And it's, for me, it's like, I'm like you. Once you show me that you're a certain type of way, once you show me that cutting me off in this way is the way to go, then I'm gonna end up cutting you off too. That's how I function, right? That's how I do things. But don't come back, because I won't come back. I don't do that. Once something is established to have been toxic, it's toxic for me. And that's where I stand with that. So I appreciate you even, this has been a very messy, but I love it, raw talk conversation. And I'm gonna call it messy because there will still be people in society who would think, oh, they messy. It's not that. It takes a lot.
Everybody messy, Miss D. Okay, let me tell you something. Everybody is spaghetti and meatballs, okay? And I don't eat that in public because I make a mess on my clothes. Yeah. So everybody is spaghetti and meatballs.
I love her.
Who ain't messy?
I love her.
Who ain't messy?
I love her. I absolutely love it. Oh my God, you are killing me right now. I love it. But you know what it is though? It's like, it's truthful. If you can't be honest with yourself about how certain things are, it's very truthful. And I don't have time to make excuses for people. I really don't. I don't have time to sit here and pretend like everything's going to be okay. No, it's not. It's just not going to be okay. You got to be truthful to that. So that was actually an amazing like home run right there with the double or nothing, because again, I don't think a lot of people get comfortable in their own voice or in their own experiences to call it what it is. This show is sponsored by Queens Infusions, a mompreneur owned brand that creates terpenes and CBD infused wellness products. Woman-owned, mompreneur, small business-owned, Queens Infusions wellness products are homemade in small batches from locally sourced ingredients, and they are my absolute favorite. To mellow out, to chill, to enjoy the scent, the taste, ooh, you name it. You don't want to miss this. Go to the show notes, go to Queens Infusions Etsy shop, and at checkout, use DDRT code for 20% off, courtesy of Double Dose of Raw Talk Podcast. Again, it doesn't take away any or make it any less our interest in being empowering to others, being empowering in our own right, or even setting that tone and building that community, let's say, right? I don't think it takes away from that. But I do think that a lot of people don't talk about it enough to say what are the issues and what are the problems to why we don't have that type of a support for one another, why we don't have that type of a support to, I want the lighting to come in, sorry. Why we don't have that type of support for one another, and why we're not able to address the issue behind it. For me, I can't tell you how many times I mean, because I am a woman, it's mostly a conversation that comes up with other women. I can't tell you how many times I've encountered women who claim that they are about supporting women and building a community and doing all of this and doing all of that, but they are the same women who are constantly talking bad about other women or are speculative of other women's intentions and motives all around them. And at some point, it becomes an issue of, maybe it's you. Just maybe you're the one who's harboring some form of negativity or insecurity that impedes you from being able to build these own communities for yourself, to be able to be supportive to yourself and then in turn to others. When we sit there and we question, well, why isn't this happening for me? Or why is this happening to me? Listen, we leave things up to God's hands or whoever it is, to your point, that people pray to, I should say. We leave it to that, yes. But a lot of it still also has to do with our decisions and our choices. And that's exactly what we kicked off with in the first segment, as raw as it gets. A lot of it there is that presents ourselves to us. Oh, fuck. I couldn't control that. Something tragic, something's all of a sudden, something unexpected, but then there's so much we can't control. And it takes a lot of consciousness to be able, and awareness to be able to control those things to the best of your abilities, to know exactly what type of resolution you want to get to or what outcome you want, right? So now we're going to go into the overdose. Okay, and the overdose, this is the last segment of the show. And with the overdose, this is where we discuss something that we're just completely over or something that we are overjoyed with. And this could be absolutely anything at all in this world, your life. I mean, when I say anything, I mean anything. You need to go on a rant right now. You need to go the fuck off. Go ahead and do it. Or you just want to share some joy right here, right now with us. Please give it to us.
Okay, where to I begin? Because it's a rant.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So over men who, what's the word? They broke, they lie, they cheat, and then they want to talk to you. And then when you don't want to talk to them, you let them know, I'm good. Oh, you think you better than me? What? I went through that shit yesterday. I said, I'm not interested. I lied and said, I'm in a relationship. So, really? So?
I have a question for you. Are those the ones that try to come? There's a reason why I'm asking this. Are those the ones that are trying to come off to you like they have like wealth, they got money, they're good, they got this?
But they broke as shit.
Okay. We gonna make it messy at this end.
Broke. I don't even mean broke money-wise, just broke.
Just like, okay. Have you seen the Tinder Swindler on Netflix? Have you heard about that?
No, okay. I have not. I'm scared to add.
Okay, I haven't started it, but I'm gonna start it. It says, posing as a wealthy jet-setting diamond mogul, he wooed women online, then conned them out of millions of dollars. Now some victims plan for payback. I say that to say, the shit is real when it comes. And listen, what did we say from the beginning? You got those that are public figures that are known out there, and then you got those regular schmegglers that be thinking they could do the same thing. And
no, you cannot.
And so
you broke.
And so I have actually recently, so I announced it on my social media that I have been in my childhood moments, and I decided to go on YouTube and find all the 90s novelas that I grew up watching with my parents, right? And I'm watching these messy little things, and I'm like, fuck, I understand it better now that I'm 36. What the fuck was I doing watching that when I was that young? I don't know, but my parents thought it was okay for me to sit down and watch this shit with them, right? But I'm watching it now, and there's storylines like that of these men targeting women who they don't got shit. And listen, I know it's just a novela, but it's not just a novela. This is shit that really happens. And it can happen to you when you on your way to work and you just encounter the regular guy that's at the Dunkin'. That is such a jab to something that happened to me about a week and a half ago, but I don't care. Anyway, y'all, go ahead, girl. Please be careful. Please be careful in these streets. Men too. There are some women, not some women, let's keep it real. There are a lot of women who will only target men to see how he could take care of her, running up the bank. Like, this is real shit, and it's still is happening. And we're in times right now where people done took out PPE loan. Wasn't it a PPE loan? What
I didn't get one, and I got a real
either.
damn business. But go ahead. I feel some type of way. Because I could use that damn loan. But go ahead.
People took out loans. They was mad fraudulent with it. They need money. People need money. And we just got to be careful in these streets. And I know it sounds like we're just ranting just to rant, but no, it's real, y'all. It's real. Be very careful. Unemployment has run out for some people. PPE loans have been done fraudulent. Like, it's tax season. It's tax season, y'all. I need y'all to be careful of who y'all starting today. I need y'all to see the address, make sure they have an address, make sure, like, I need all of that, because I just do. That's what we're talking about now. I just do.
It's just really sad, because it's like, bro, I told you I'm not interested.
Mm-hmm.
I got a man, whether I have one or not, and you just not getting it. He was just being so demanding, like, oh, well, here's my card. I said, for what?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't need a taxi. I could walk, and I'm not gonna call you. I said it straight like that, and kept on pushing. What else you want me to say? I don't want to be bothered.
Yeah, I want to be able to join in, Shakirah, on this with my overdose. It's you could call it overjoy, because there's definitely something I'm over too, and I'm gonna rant this off. I wasn't gonna give too much details. I actually wasn't even gonna talk about it, but you know what? It complements so well what you just said, and this won't be raw talk if I don't keep it all the way raw, right? So I actually did exchange numbers with a gentleman in a public place. He approached me. His approach was not bad, right? He was trying real hard with his little smoothness, and I just don't have time. I'm on a rush. I gotta make it to work. Like, if you're gonna ask for my number, ask for my number. I'll give you my number now. I'm out the door. Like, that's it. Let's just keep it moving, sir. Don't you have a job to go to? Anyway, so I've spoken to the gentleman here and there. I'm being very respectful right now. I'm calling him a gentleman, but I've spoken to him, right? I've spoken to him, right? And it hasn't been bad conversations, right? But from the very beginning, I did tell this man, I am a very, very busy woman. So if you want to talk on the phone, we could talk on the phone. We could text. Like, just give me the heads up. Don't just call me in the middle of the day. I'm at work, right?
Yeah.
Right? And you also just don't just FaceTime me because you think you gonna see all this face. Like, it's just not gonna happen, right? Like, I think there's just certain talking to someone etiquette, right? And I think we should create
boundaries.
Right? Like, let's just put that part of that etiquette. What's respectful? What's a boundary, right? Like, do you say that? Do you not? Do you do that? Do you not? Right? Y'all, he was out and about one day, and he happened to message me to see what I was doing. I took the 2 minutes it took, not even 2 seconds, to say, I'm running errands. Happy Sunday. That was it. But sir, I said, happy Sunday. I'm running errands. Like, 20 minutes later, in the middle of my errands, I get a message that says, oh my God, you won't believe what just happened. I need to talk to someone right now. Call me right now. Whoa. So I looked at it. I was in the middle of my errand. My hands were occupied. I could not just call you. And also, I don't just, do as I'm told just because. But I said, let me call him in like 20, 15 minutes because I need to finish this up. When I read it again in about 15 minutes, there's another message and it says, call me right now. I said, oh, hell fucking no. Like, that was just like, it was just like a red flag to me, right?
It is.
I did not respond until 4 hours later. And 4 hours later, I said very respectfully and professionally, if anybody knows me, if you know Misty, you know I am very cordial with my responses. I said, as I said to you earlier today, happy Sunday. I was busy running errands. Just saw this. Everything good? And he said, yeah, it's just in that moment, I just want to talk. And he sent this whole detail. And I just, at that moment, I was just so over the interaction. After I read his whole detail, all I said was, oh, wow. Okay, great. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And that was it. I honestly, and this may sound picky, this may sound messy, this may sound like, this is why you're single. No, fuck all of y'all who may say that, because that is actually not why I'm single. And I am not being messy, and I'm also not being picky. I am here to say those are part of boundaries. Those are part of, to Miss Shakira's point here. Thank you, man, for bringing this to the microphone, because I sometimes feel like I'm the only one that be ranting and talking shit about this all the fucking time, and it's not. Like, it's truthful. It's so truthful to being selfish, putting yourself first, loving yourself is part of that self-love. Like, do not just conform to what the fuck other people want you to do, say. Like, you don't just hop, skip, and jump because somebody fucking tells you to. You don't just do that. First comes you. If you have children, a lot of people say, well, my children come first. You know what I learned? My child is the love of my life. He is. I adore him. Truly, the only love at first sight I've ever experienced after he done tore me the fuck up when he entered this world, okay? But he does not come first. I come first. And I've said this before. See, my mom raised me believing that we all came first and she came last. And my mom went through a lot not being able to take care of herself too. And that's something I had to remember the day that I did become a mom. I'm going to love you for life. I'm going to ride for you. I will do everything for you. There's not nothing in this world Marcus will never need of anybody. Because I'm here, but I need to be here. So in order for me to be here, I come first. Period.
Well,
period. That's it. So if a man be texting you trying to get your number and he trying to tell you, call me right now, you don't do it. That's all I'm saying.
I just block. I'll be ready to block. Block.
Needless to say, he got blocked.
Like, what are you doing?
I don't got time.
I just told you what I'm doing. You don't comprehend what I'm saying?
I don't got time. I don't got time. I don't have time. And that's on that. So, Miss Shakirah, I love this conversation. Do you want to tell my listeners where they can find you, where they can support you, how they can support you? Are your books still on Amazon? Like, what's going on? To give us all the tea here.
Girl, my collection of poetry, I Am Not Your Average Black Woman Part 1, is currently on Amazon, right? It did make number 1 last year, July 11th when it launched. And then I also have a co-author project titled From Pain to Power, which is also on Amazon. It's only $2.99, which is the ebook. It's a pre-order. It launches February 22nd, 2022. Now, I will get paperbacks and I will sell autograph copies. I gotta see if, the demand is high. And if it is, I let the people know, because you're going to want an autograph copy. Because if you order it from Amazon, number 1, I ain't getting that money right away. And number 2, it's not going to be autographed. Next, I have a podcast which airs weekly. If I allow it to air weekly, okay. It is the So Superwoman, SO Superwoman podcast. It is on Apple, Google, Spotify. And it talks about my mental health journey, my self-love, my trauma healing. And I also just highlight certain tips for women who may be going through a hard time healing, because healing is an ongoing thing. And no judgment, okay? And I will be interviewing self-published authors who also been through some type of mental health. And I also got some men coming on my podcast. We're going to talk shit too about relationships. Everything ties back to mental health at the end of the day, right? So that is for season 2. My Instagram, _superwoman. My Facebook is Shakirah OoooMazing. Omazing, okay? Just saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Go support, guys. Thank you again, Shakirah, for coming on the show, for sharing your voice, your experience, for making this such a raw conversation, but with a dose of messy. And
spaghetti sauce, spaghetti and meatballs.
Spaghetti and meatballs. I am never going to look at spaghetti and meatballs the same without having a good fucking laugh. I'm just saying. And yeah, and I'll probably end up naming a few people like, you real spaghetti or you real meatball, but that's okay.
Oh, girl, I love it.
All All right, guys. And as always, everything is always going to be on the show notes, where you could go again, follow, subscribe, rate, review, support. And as always, this has been another week and another episode on Double Dose of Raw Talk Podcast. I am your host, Misty, and you guys will tune in next week. Bye. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And we are live on your favorite podcast streaming platform. Make sure to tell a friend to subscribe, rate, and review. Talk to you later. Bye.